Introduce you. Good morning, folks. As usual, we're going to give folks a couple of minutes to settle in here. And while we're waiting for that to happen, I'll introduce Christina Baker of SilverTech. She's going to be working in concert with her partners at Kentico, and give you a taste of what that organization does. Well, Christina, while we're waiting for Chris, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit better than I just did, and then we'll get started, okay?
It's short and sweet, Reggie. I like it. My name is Christina Baker. I'm the digital strategy lead here at SilverTech. SilverTech is a full service digital agency. We work very closely with Chris and others at Kentico on advising our clients from a number of verticals and industries on how to best use the platform and how to create digital experiences that are impactful and that really drive growth for your organization. I'll toss it over. I don't know, Reggie, if you want to intro Chris or which
I'm
one to
just
go
going to
with.
say hello and good morning
Okay.
to Chris, and then I'm going to get off screen and Chris can introduce himself probably better than I can, okay?
Sure. My name's Chris Hatcher. I've actually been an implementer. I come from the agency world for about 15 years. I joined Kentico a couple of years ago as a solution engineer. So now I'm here to talk about anything Kentico, but my experience obviously also goes into the implementation as well as managing of websites.
Awesome. So let's get started because we've got a lot to go through today. I'm hoping to make it a really engaging session. So please use that Q&A to drop any questions along the way. We will have time for questions at the end of the session. So definitely make sure to drop them and we'll make sure to get to them and go through some of that. But basically what we want to go through today is we really want to talk about elevating your online presence as an association and how you can do that with a digital partner and an awesome platform like Kentico. So again, I'm Christina Baker and Chris Hajar is here with me as well. We work very closely together, advising clients from a number of different verticals, including associations, on how to use this platform, how to implement it, and what are those best practices within digital experiences that are going to really impact your members and keep them coming back. So for today, just to kind of give a quick synopsis over what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about empowering your association's online presence. We're going to do a quick intro to Experience by Kentico. What does that look like? How can you use it? Highlighting some of those key features that really make a difference for your association. And then Chris is going to walk us through a demo that's going to show you how easy it is to use and highlight some of those key features on the back end of the CMS. So you'll be able to see that. And then we'll talk through a little bit about our different association customers and some of the impact that we've made along the way. And I think that's going to be really interesting and key. So you guys can start to think about, how can we use this tool? Is it the right fit for us? And what can we get out of it? So let's talk a little bit about Kentico and SilverTech. So Kentico is a digital experience platform. What does that mean? Well, back in the day, you used to have WordPress. And a long time ago, it was just, your website and you put your content up and that's where it ended. And then we started to get more complex, right? We started to pull in different integrations. Now we have CRM, now we have marketing automation, and an experience like Kentico and Kentico Experience is a real digital experience platform. And what that means is it's a whole ecosystem. It's no longer just, hey, I'm going to put up a blog post and that's going to be the end of it. Here's a couple photos. Now we're done. Now we're talking about how do we integrate with different ancillary platforms and how do we sort of create this holistic experience that can really drive membership revenue engagement through all parts of the journey. So something like personalization and targeting is a great feature of a platform like Kentico, where you're able to personalize based on, is someone a new member or trying to renew their membership? Do they have specific interests? Are they heavily interested in events or maybe more on the sort of small user group side? Whatever it might be, we can start to personalize that content and experience for them. And we can do that through a number of ways within the platform itself, but also through using our integration capabilities. So by being able to integrate with platforms like IMS, Salesforce, or HubSpot or Microsoft products, different CRMs, different mail, email marketing products, things like that. We can use data from all of them in order to fuel that personalized effort and create an experience that's very custom to that particular member. And that's where you start to see platforms like Kentico pull away from the pack, because we're able to do things that, a more basic platform really can't get you. And that's really what elevates that presence and allows the association to continue to thrive and grow. And then from that, really, that's where we start to talk about the scalability. When we talk about implementing a solution like this, it's not going to be a one and done type thing. We want to make sure we're growing with the organization and continuing to, build upon those goals you have, so we can drive that growth using these platforms in a way that reduces load on your internal teams. So a little bit about my background. I actually worked in nonprofit for a while. I was I worked as an events and marketing person at a chamber of commerce. So this is a topic near and dear to my heart, because I know very well the sort of pain points of associations and how folks wear a lot of hats, and oftentimes they're working with, sort of limited resources in some ways. And how can we make sure that we're making the best of it? And that's where your strategic partner comes in. So someone like me, from SilverTech, as a strategic implementation partner, what does that mean? It basically means that I'm your guide. I'm going to walk with you on this journey, alongside our partners at Kentico, and how can we use this platform and make it work for you? What we really don't want to do is just say, well, this is what it's capable of, have at it. That's not helpful. You really need someone with you to say, hey, here's how we can make the best of this, and here's how you can get the most out of this platform for your organization. So that really leads us into things like experience design, getting to know your members. What are they looking for? What is their, what are their careabouts, right? What are their pain points? Where are they experiencing friction? That's when we start to look at, okay, how can we reduce some of that friction? How can we make this easier for our members? But then additionally, how do we reduce that load on our internal team as well by using marketing automation or anything like that that's available through the platform? We also take a look at what does that journey look through portals and intranets. We've worked with a number of different clients on creating customer portals, member portals, intranet design. So how do we make it a very seamless experience? And then additionally, how are we able to track what that journey is? We want to be able to see that data and see the full journey of a member, so that we can continue to identify, are there any roadblocks here? But then also identify opportunities. Do we see someone engaging a lot with this specific kind of content? Now we know we can start to build that content up more, and really make sure that we're putting it in their way, so to speak, as they're with us. We want to put it in line with their journey, so they're not having to seek that out, and we can reduce any type of friction or frustration. Finally, that data and system integration piece. A strategic partner can help you identify where are those integration points. Where can we pull data? Where do we need to be sending data back and forth? Are we going to be pushing it out? Are we going to be pulling it? How do these things and systems sort of align? And then sort of one of my passions is really identifying, is there overlap? Can we maybe trim some MarTech out of our stack and make use of a platform like Kentico, which has the features like marketing automation and email and campaigns and things like that, to maybe trim it up and make it a little bit more efficient. So Experience by Kentico and SilverTech, when we talk about associations, I sort of touched on all of these, but really what we're looking to do is how can we empower your team to increase efficiency and be able to do those things that you maybe just at the moment can't really do with your current platform or your current stack. We have to make sure we're competing, because as a user, you don't necessarily see the difference. Users are very sort of tunnel vision. They know what they want. They know how they're used to engaging online. And whether you're an association or a, for-profit business that is, billions of dollars in revenue, they don't make a distinction. They just want to know what they're looking for, and they want to have a great experience. So we start to talk about how do we get those insights to deliver those experiences so that we can start meeting our members where they're at and elevating our brand so that they can see the value of their membership. And one of those ways is through personalizing. You know, personalized experiences. I think when we talk about personalization, we really some folks get really overwhelmed and they think about like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much work to do that, and it really doesn't have to be. And that's again one of my passions, is helping you see that, you know, we can deliver a personalized experience even in a smaller way that still makes an impact, that's still very manageable for your teams. We really want to make sure that we continue to nurture those relationships. As an association, so much of our drive is about member experience and delivering value to members and helping them realize the value of their membership. So we want to continue to nurture and build those relationships. And a platform like Experience can really help you do so by looking at those different data points and knowing when to reach out and really continue to have that conversation with your member. We sort of touched on eliminating friction. I think that's one of the best things. I think, you know, where I see a lot of associations have trouble is that, you know, oftentimes we're using sort of antiquated technologies because unfortunately that's where we're stuck for whatever reason. And it starts to kind of, as you add things, they start to add those friction points, and that can be really difficult to overcome. A platform like Experience by Kentico is going to allow you to continue to build up as features are added, so that you're able to kind of understand what you can add and be really thoughtful and strategic. And that's where your partner comes into, someone like me, to help you say, hey, did you hear about this new feature? Here's how it can work for you. And then when you add all of that in, as well as the security features of a platform like Experience, you're really driving home a very tidy, in a way, I guess I would say, experience for your members, where they're able to show up, engage on a really high level, and they don't have to worry about things like, you know, their email being compromised, or if you're using e-commerce tools, you know, any of their payment information. Experience by Kentico is really built with security in mind. All right, so I'm going to stop talking now, and we're going to toss it over to Chris. He's going to run us through a demo, and something I really want you guys to be thinking about is that, you know, I know as an association, sometimes there can sometimes be this idea of like, well, you know, these other companies are able to do whatever because they have a huge budget and they're able to, you know, take you know, advantage of features that don't apply to me. But that's not true. I think that what you're going to see in our demo is this platform is really built for any vertical and any industry, and the ways that we are able to use it is going to really show you that as an association, these are the features that you can take advantage of, that you can, you know, really elevate your presence and allow you to compete, you know, on the same level as some of those larger brands that you may feel like is out of reach for you, and it's really not. So Chris is going to take us through a demo that's going to show you a banking example, but I really like it because it shows how the playing field is quite level. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chris now, and he can take it away.
Thank you, Christina. So everybody should be able to see that. I have one question. When I was going through and picking the options, I might have to end up doing this live. I pre-recorded it. We're going to see if we can if people can hear it or not. If not, then I'm going to try to do this live. Yep. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I can share my audio. So let me get my site up real quick. Alrighty. So thank you for that intro. I'm going to go through a few different things to show, again, why Kentico is a really good fit for associations. Just scrambling a tiny bit to bring up my script. Apologies. Okay. So as you can see, we're at our dashboard right here. The most important thing, you can see that they're divided into 5 different major categories. The first one we're going to look at right now is our channels category. Typically, these are websites. They can be other things. In this case, we actually have a email channel as well as a headless channel that is used to populate one of our mobile apps. But for now, we're going to go into the KBank for Personal area. This is going to look very similar to what you know and love from kind of, you know, the last 20 years of CMS. We got a file tree over here. One of the nice things, though, is we do have this drag and drop page builder, which is extremely easy to use and quick. You see we can move things around. We have ways to keep people out of places they don't want to be. We also have very easy ways to change change content and even change the look and feel. So I've been tasked, let's just do something quick with updating the hero image. We have our default KBank one. I was asked to go get something else. Opening up the hero image properties, you can see I get to this select content items tab, and we're going to cover the content hub and where this comes from. But you can see with content that's already been created, choosing it and even creating another look and feel around it, even as dramatic as a white on black, is something that, again, during the implementation phase, a partner like SilverTech would translate your business requirements into these widgets and these sort of building blocks to be able to create any kind of page or any kind of content that you'd want to be able to do. I'm going to put this one back to normal for now. As we get down the page, you see at the top, this is also to be able to enforce brand guidelines or keep things the way that you want them to look on the page. You have the ability to limit what widgets are used where. So as you can see, as I go down the page, I have a lot more. These are all specific to my personal installation for this KBank site. They would also be, reflective of what you would be looking for in terms of your functionality. If that is, a comparator, if it's these cards, headers, etc. We also do still have the old way of rich text with all the options that you know and love, as well as the option to be able to put in code view. As previously mentioned, we're going to go from here. We're going to go into our content hub real quick. The idea behind this, and this was mentioned a little bit earlier in Reggie, I believe's intro, this is a hub and spoke model. So the content hub is outside of every channel. It is essentially global or can be used for any of those channels that I showed previously. For now, we're just going to open up a personal loan content item, and you can see this again. Your content items can be completely customized. They can be the typical database fields. They can be media. They can also have other content types. So this enables for many or a lot of different combinations for your data models. In addition, there's some more things down here that are being used for our headless application to create a calculator around loans and things like that. And sorry for the dog. That's also why I pre-recorded. So coming into the content hub, again, any of the changes we make here would be immediately changed. So you can see we switch from bar up to 20,000 to bar up to 20,000. Anywhere that we would use this, we're going to go back into our personal, and we're going to get our loan. Excuse me. And you can see already, personal loan, $250,000 has been updated. In addition to this, if any other content items or channels were making this request, they would also get the updated content immediately. One of the next things I'd like to talk about, and this is a big factor of today in marketing automation and segmentation in general, is our contact groups. I actually went through, and this is still from my demo recording yesterday, and created a test group. So I created an ASAE demo group. You see these can be flat, but they can also be conditions. So anybody that's ever built an Outlook rules engine or something similar to that, it's as easy as doing some of the similar. We give you a lot of built-in activities as well as contact details. For now, we're just going to use something simple. Oops. Similar to that one, visited a URL with loan in the last 10 days. And you can see there's nobody in this contact group at the moment. But now from anybody going forward, if they fulfill any of these actions, they would be put into the ASAE demo contact group. Well, that's great. But what can we do with this? Well, I'll show you. One of the nice things, again, about our page builder application is that not only does it have a lot of features around the look and feel and the layout and things like that, it also has a button right here for personalization. So every single widget on the page can be personalized based off of those contact groups, personas, or other factors. For now, we're just going to do the easiest one. and we're going to add this to a contact group. So you see we have ASAE, we have ASAE, and now we have two versions of this home page hero image. So the original one, but I want the ASAE one to be totally different. So we're going to pick a whole different banner. We're going to put it in a background and we're going to switch it to light. This is not ADA compliant. This is not something I would push live. But what we are doing it for is that you can see now there are two versions running at all times. You don't have to go back. You don't have to think about this. You don't have to fix anything. And this is where some of those automations and the walk, crawl, run approach that was mentioned earlier is, in my opinion, very important. Keeping some of these a little bit wider, not boxing out too much of your audience and then adding more to it can give you easy ways to then, again, segment your audience. And I'm getting some time warnings already, I know, and that's fine. So the next part I'm going to jump into right now, and this was something that was mentioned earlier. This is very important to not only my company. We are based in the Czech Republic, where GDPR reigns supreme. We have a built-in data protection module, and this is not only protect your business, but also to empower and self-serve your customers. Kind of, it was talking a little bit about earlier, where you can manage your communications. This is, along the same lines. But what this allows us to do is, again, very easily create and manage consents, add them to forms, as well as add them to different parts of the site, and attach those to your activities on your contact management. So any user that does any sort of an activity and consents to that activity, you will have a record of it. In addition to that, you also have data portability, right to access, right to be forgotten, all one-touch ways to purge your system of your user's personal data if they request it. Looks like we have about 3 minutes left. I'm going to show real quick how you can actually set up a new channel. We're going to use my mother is actually a member of an association as well, a local one up here, and a big thing is putting together the annual meeting every year. So I actually already went in through here and created one when I was doing my demo. However, it's as easy as coming in and creating a page with a couple options. You can see I set my domain, I set all this kind of stuff. I even allow my content types, which is where the reusability comes in. And as soon as I go to my KBank annual meeting page, you can see I have a new site up and running and ready to go. In addition to that, I created a consent earlier, and we can actually add that to a form very quickly. So if we go to, I don't have an annual meeting form. Okay, let's go do that real quick first. Gonna make the form.
Yeah, I think what's great about this as Chris is working on the form, I think what's so great about this is it's showing you how quickly you can spin up these pages to really sort of ease that burden on your internal team, because you're able to really create these unique experiences and personalize them based on that data that you have within Kentico or within your CRM. And I did get a question as Chris is working through this form. I did get a question about if there was data coming from the CRM, can we have multiple content types pull this value from the CRM so we don't have to change multiple pieces of content? So I don't know if you want to kind of take a crack at that, Chris, while you're coming along.
I can actually do that one pretty quickly, surprisingly enough. We have a whole area called custom modules, and this is actually kind of the key to I've heard somebody mention as OmniData earlier. I call it sometimes composition or, getting multiple streams of data into the same place. So what Kentico allows you to do is right off the bat, we allow you to do things like extend your member classes, extend your external member classes, and you can create these to be whatever you want. And that would then create buckets for something like a Salesforce, IMIS, anything like that. We even do have some that are right off the bat that are built-in CRM integrations to sync forms into your, for first-party form captures and things like that.
Awesome. I don't know if you want to show off this last bit, Chris, and then we'll kind of switch back and make sure we have time.
Yeah, I'll just finish we'll just put the form up here now that I made it, and
awesome.
annual. What did I call it? I definitely saved it. Anyway, believe me, it's there. I'm not lying. It's
I think
it's
the
in there.
takeaway
The
though
consent is in
is
there.
how these forms come together so
Exactly. It's
quickly.
very quickly, and they can be
Yeah,
done
and
on
then
the
it's
fly.
stored right within the CMS. You're able to, and what's great about it too is that, you know, when you start to use those forms, you're able then to personalize based on who submitted those forms. So we already now we have our marketing for next year kind of set up. We know who came, who didn't come. We can start to look at who is our most, you know, who's coming to most of our events. You know, maybe we reach out to them, offer them the opportunity to speak, or maybe, you know, they want to grow with us, and then we really start to drive some of that membership. Or maybe there's someone who would like to sponsor, right? We can start to talk about, hey, have you ever thought about sponsoring one of these events that you really love to come to? There's so many different ways that we can start to use that data, all housed within experience. So we're not having to go to a, you know, Cvent or what's the other one I'm thinking of? The other event one. Oh, I'm totally blanking now. But a MailChimp or, you know, any of those types of other ancillary platforms. We can keep it all within one place, which makes it a lot more manageable.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see all these things can be customized if depending on how far you'd like to take it. We have an entire email channel based around different steps. As well as, again, all these things talk to each other immediately. So if somebody opens an email, you can take action against that the next time they open up the website, they could see a different homepage based on that email's content. Things like that are fully baked into the platform.
Awesome. I'm going to steal your screen now, Chris, just so
Yeah,
we can
please
go through
do.
a couple. I want to kind of run it back to our associations and sort of how does this work for associations? So these are some quick examples of, you know, some of the associations that SilverTech has worked with, like the New Hampshire Historical Society. For them, that was a real content push. You know, they're really pushing that content, showing the value of membership. So I think that, you know, we're able to really understand, you know, how can we start to elevate that presence and, you know, keep that engagement coming back so that we have an opportunity to sell more memberships and really show the value of that. And then on the flip side, we really have also our example here with Bosma. Bosma is an excellent organization SilverTech has a long-standing relationship with. They are, you know, focused on helping folks with blindness and visual impairment. So we really started talking about, you know, how can we do accessible design? How can we convey all the great work they're doing in this space? And really understand the different functions of that organization, because they did have an e-commerce piece, they have, you know, a development piece. So how can we highlight each of those key areas and drive growth in each of those key areas?
So Christina, are
So
you
I would like
sharing
to
your
kind of open
screen
it
right
up
now?
now. I know we have a couple. I'm just going to switch through these quick slides. Just a group of logos. We've worked with a
Yeah, your
ton of
screen's not up,
associations.
Christina.
Oh, it's shut off. Well, we're done.
That's what I can't figure.
I love it. But I do want to look in the Q&A to see if there's any little questions, straggler questions here. One question we got was, does personalization demo assume the user is logged into the site? No. You are able to personalize. Oh, now I'm screen sharing, it looks like. Here we are. Does personalization demoed assume the user is logged into the site? No, not necessarily. It can. If you want it to be structured that way. And again, that's where your digital partner helps you identify, here's what the workflow is going to look like, here's what the experience is going to look like. But you can personalize based on any user experience you want to deliver, whether they are logged in or not. I'm going to throw this last slide up here because I know we're running out, coming up quick on time, and I know there's probably some questions you guys might think of after. So definitely scan that QR code. Reach out to Andrew, who's one of our friends at Kentico, who has great experience with this, can help guide that conversation, or myself. Would love to hear your feedback, thoughts. What are you going through right now that I can help you with? I would love to have that conversation. So definitely reach out to us and let us know.
I'm answering some in the text as well. Yeah.
And so, Chris, get in touch with the folks at Matchbox, because if you have that video of the demo that you did, they can probably upload it to the platform, or at least make a link to the platform so people can go and look at that over the next few days or so. Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. All right. Well, thank you guys for your demo, and hope to see you all soon. Okay.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.